But if discernment is there, you know what, who, where, when, why you're doing things for, to the power of what, of, then. All of that which might seem unbearable bears in as what? Strong, strength, order, chaos, balance, foundation. For more. And you can build on that. You can build a mound. You can build a mountain. You can build strength. You can build your receptor. You can build a qualification to be nominated for your soul. Because you can look around and see who's abandoned theirs, who's searching for theirs, who has theirs, and is trying to do things because it all matters. But you won't know what matters without the discernment. So, how are you guys doing? Good morning, day, noon, night, evening, whenever you're getting this message. We're not using the here, so. It was snowing earlier today. Just came in from the outside. And we've also kind of adopted a John Vervaeke perspective on our hair. And so it's not done. And, for the record, we get, I don't know how to explain it, a type of experiential anxiousness every time we're about to make a video. Every time. And we set a time, and sometimes it takes, a little bit longer to get it going. So if you haven't kind of looked this up a little bit already, we'll save you some time. What we believe that to be is just a symptom of a neurodivergent aspect of ourselves. And that aspect, the technical term, is autism. Anyway, why am I bringing that up really quickly? Because this video, we are finishing chapter 1 of Beyond Faith Within Reason. And the next chapter, that's going to be a tough one. The theme is kind of like damaged. And it is manifesting as a result of the other videos we've put out there, as a result of this is what we have to say. And now this is a lot of where it's coming from personally, experientially, not just what we learned or what other people come to us for. And so in the next chapter, Damaged, it'll be the joys too, but there'll be a lot of focus on what trauma is, what our traumas were, some of the downs and ups. And there's a lot. So that's why we're bringing it up real quick. So this video, if you see me looking this way, these are where my notes are. We're finishing up chapter 1, and there's many chapters. We mentioned that a few videos ago. And so, in finishing chapter 1, what we're going to do is just structure the communication style and content of this video as a combination of the information we've abstracted, and that's going to look something like communicating and the combination of types of communication, literacy, math, theology, psychology, in one phrase. In one phrase. So, what is the phrase that sums up all of the videos up until this point? 2 words, 1 phrase. 4 exponent of. That's it. Should we end the video now? I guess we'll keep going for a little bit. So 4. Let's at first write it as FOR. Exponent OF. Phrase. All of the videos. All that you and we are coming up to this moment. All that already is coagulating into right now. Top down, bottom up, lateral. 4 exponent of. What does that mean? It means, in other words, what you're doing, what we're doing, what they're doing, what I'm doing, we are doing it for, to the power of. Everything we're doing it for, fill in the blank, exponent of, fill in the blank. That's the phrase. Those are the 2 words into the phrase. So let's first apply this in mathematical terminology, because that's a lot of how we started. How we ended up with a 3-pointed geometrical shape. How we got that shape from 2 lines. What's meaningful, intersecting the lines to make a cross or a plus, encircling those, counting the interior angles, aggregately gives us 900 degrees of Earth, flattening it out, we have an axis, you pull it up, you look at one face, and you have a triangle, right? So that's why we're talking about it in mathematical terminology first. So 4, FOR. Well, how do we change that into a mathematical term? Well, we count the amount of interior angles in the word. So FOR. How many interior angles are in the word? I asked myself. I said, no, wait, that can't be exactly what I think it is. And it is, if you write it that way. There's 4 interior angles in that word. And that is a matter of a type of alphanumerical communication system that, well, one of the uses is by a group called but that's not the focus. 4 then is 4. Now we apply the same type of thinking and speaking to the word of. How many interior angles are in the word of? O, F, 1, 2, 3. So if we were to, how would you say, express that phrase in mathematical terms and shapes, what we would have is a shape that has 4 angles interiorly to the exponent of a shape that has 3 angles interiorly. So we have a square. What you're doing, 4, right, to the exponent of triangle. So let's finish up talking about it in mathematical terms. Why would a square matter? Well, it's a container, first of all. There's an inside and there's an outside. And the square can contain more than one equilateral shape within itself. So for example, a square can have 4 triangles in it at the minimum. It can have 4 squares in it at the minimum. And the triangle can have 1 equilateral shape within it multiple times. So it can have, and so that's that. And so what we're doing things for, our decision-making process, our thinking, the way we manifest things, the way we experience things, gets contained in that 4, in that square. And then there's everything going on outside of it. So what we're doing is for fill in the blank. And there's still everything outside of that going on. To the exponent of triangle, 3 points, right? We went over the 3 points. The 3 points could be a trinity. It could be conscious, subconscious, collective unconscious. It could be the specific, the general, and the universal. See where I'm going with this? I kind of do, myself. So when you fill in the blank, let's use an example. I'm doing X, Y, and Z for, let's just use first person for now, for myself, or I'm able to accomplish, or go through, or struggle through these things for myself, because it is exponentially powered by some might say a trinity, some might say powered by my conscious, subconscious, collective unconscious. Some might say it's powered by what is specific, what is general, and what is universal. So just in that, right, we have mathematical terms, psychology and myth terms, and in terms of scripture. What we're doing, we are doing for, in the image of, in the likeness of, in the image of God, in the likeness of us. That's who we're doing things for, powered by that. What else is a 3-letter word? God. So now we've taken this 2-word single phrase and included mathematical communications, psychological communications, myth, scripture. Now, why don't we throw a little bit of science in there? The body that I'm in is able to do it because scientifically it is the way it is. And the brain controls the body because it is the way it is. So now we have science interjected in there. Now, I don't know about you, but for the most part, even when I'm talking about it, I'm thinking about the representation of the words, the representations of the words and the shapes on a single plane, two-dimensionally. Well, what happens if we're looking at this, right? And then you're like, you look at the phrase from different angles, which means that what is, well, in the beginning, two-dimensional, because you're able to look at it in different ways, there's at least one more. There's three. So what happens when we have a three-dimensional four?
You don't know me, but I've made 5,600 baskets in the past 6 months. I've lost 24 pounds in the past 6 months. I've cut my body fat down to 10%. What you should know, there's only one supplement to use.
No, that's in 2D. How many equilateral let me rephrase. How many equilateral 3D triangles can you fit in a 3D cube? 6. 6 of them. Why does the 6 matter? Because you just doubled up on the 3's. You just doubled up on the exponent. Not in value necessarily, but in representation. You have 4 to the power of, or you can say 4 to the power of 3. So if you have another 3, that is these reasons for doing something exponentially, and these reasons for doing something exponentially. In other words, the horizontal divide, this choice or that choice. They're both empowered multidimensionally by that exponent, multidimensionally. So then if we do that, let's say we have a fraction and the top of the fraction is 4 and of, and then we have 4 and of as the denominator. Well, how many triangles do we have now? 12. 12. And how many 4's are in 12? 3. And how many 3's are in 12? 4. So you have a phrase that is a beginning and an end that means itself. Its own beginning and its own end that means itself. Well, we can't leave out the value of, well, some of the sacred Gnostic teachings. Let's use one of their phrases, as above, so below. And you have 4 to the of, and you have a 3-dimensional cube that fits 6 3-dimensional triangles. So below, another 6, that's 12. Now a lot of things start to make sense. 12 months, 12 apostles, 12 imams, 12 zodiacs. It's pretty wild. So, Looking at my notes to make sure I didn't leave anything out here. Paul Vanderklay talked about this in one of his videos. The reason for things he's saying is, you can call it top-down causation. So you have 4 exponents. Us, we're doing things for. Exponent from the top causes an empowerment of the bottom. How wild is that? So you also have top-down causation. And the phrase itself is both, when you experience it, it's both a representation as a phrase, and we represented it in multiple ways. And because of what it's made of, and that we're able to experience it together, I'm communicating it, right? We're communicating about it. So the phrase is also representation and communication. Or you could say, it is a manifestation of the time-space continuum. There, boop, coming right in, 3 points, another 3 points, there. 1 dot, 2 dot, 3 dot. You have 2 triangles, you put them together, right? Because we have the fraction, there's one up here, there's one down there. You put them together, what do you get? You combine those 2 triangles, at least in a 2-dimensional space. Well, you get a star, a guiding light. And of course, we cannot leave out at least a little bit of Hebrew. And that star contains every letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is another form of representation and communication. Funny enough, if you look at an exponent, right, if you have the word F-O-R and of, and you change of into, a little triangle, it also kind of resembles the functionality and appearance of a yod. So that's the end of chapter 1. What are we doing things for? Answer that question. And if you can answer that question, you're empowered by the of. What is your of? And how high does that go? How many words can you use to keep describing you're empowered by the of until you reach what? The of. The of. And you know in your heart what that is. And this representation and communication wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for us, what's going on right now in this moment in 2022. Empowered by the of, it wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for of things being exponentially powered because of what things are going on, what we're doing things for. There wouldn't be such a shift in consciousness, so to say. There wouldn't be such a shift in meaning if it wasn't needed of. And that has to be balanced. air, water, let's say, earth. What happens if there's too much air? Drought. What happens if there's too much water? Flood. What happens if you're just doing too much for this, for that, for this, without knowing your of? Flood. And if it's just only of, and you're not doing things for more than yourself, drought. And that imbalance, if you can't answer that, I'm doing things for to the power of the of, what happens? That representation and communication, that star, that crosshair, this phrase that you can use to aim, it'll take you anywhere. And that's not necessarily a bad or a good thing. But if it's imbalanced, what that means is your for and of is imbalanced. Manifestation of your aiming, of why you're doing things for to the power of goes off, which means your discernment is off. Which means what if you cannot discern? Which means what for your balance if you're not discerning it for yourself? What gets hijacked? And your discernment, well, we believe, if it gets hijacked, that is what makes joy and sorrow almost unbearable. So that's why this phrase is so important. Because those things that can be classified as unbearable, what we're doing things for, to the power of, that's why this happens, that's why that happens, are going to happen anyway. But it is the discernment that we have to not have that hijacked that makes it more than just trauma, then just joy, then just sorrow. It makes it more than that. Because if it is not more than that, joy is fleeting. Oh, there it goes. I don't know what to do with it other than hope it comes every now and then, and I don't really know how to make the most of it. Or when trauma comes, that was just so destructive, and maybe I won't be able to recover from it. I don't know what to do. But if discernment is there, you know what, who, where, when, why you're doing things for, to the power of what, of, then. All of that which might seem unbearable bears in as what? Strong, strength, order, chaos, balance, foundation. For more. And you can build on that. You can build a mound, you can build a mountain, you can build strength, you can build your receptor, you can build a qualification to be nominated for your soul. Because you can look around and see who's abandoned theirs, who's searching for theirs, who has theirs, and is trying to do things because it all matters. But you won't know what matters without the discernment. So, I want to thank you guys for watching, and the perpetuators, the presenters, the protectors, the participants that work behind the scenes, tirelessly, thanklessly, often misunderstood for good luck, or I did it on my own. Thank you. And so this is the end of chapter 1. Okay, this is just chapter 1. And so the next chapter will be damaged. And I don't know if you can see it, but up there, we've already started. It's the formula for trauma. And that's joy and sorrow, okay? So, what are you doing things for? To the power of what? We'll see you on the next video.